WWE made history this past month with the first ever two-night SummerSlam. But here's the thing that nobody's talking about. You just paid twice as much to watch what used to be one show. And reports are already surfacing that WWE is in intensive talks about expanding more PLEs to 2 nights. We're talking Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, even Money in the Bank potentially becoming full weekend affairs. And to stream these events in 2026, you gotta get ESPN streaming service and pay double or triple what you do right now. So today we need to ask the hard question. Does WWE really need 2-night PLEs, or is this just TKO finding new creative ways to double dip your wallet while sucking the soul out of wrestling? Who knows? Who knows? So to understand where we're at, we need to go back to where this all started. And it wasn't born out of a creative vision, it was born out of desperation. WrestleMania 36 in April of 2020 was supposed to be a one-night event at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. Then, little thing called COVID-19 hit and WWE found themselves scrambling, much like everybody else. With no fans allowed, they filmed the entire event at the WWE Performance Center on March 25th and 26th. Then they aired it as a 2-night broadcast on April 4th and April 5th. You do not need to watch it. They did the best with what they had. It's still not watchable. All that wasn't WWE being innovative, boneyard match aside. That was WWE trying to make the best of a really bad situation. But here's where the gears start to turn. WWE looked at the numbers afterwards and realized they'd kind of stumbled onto a gold mine. 2 nights means double the ad revenue, and twice the ticket sales when you could go in person again. So what started as a pandemic necessity became a permanent money-making machine.
Here comes the money!
Here we go. And they weren't even the first to do it. New Japan Pro Wrestling started running 2-night Wrestle Kingdom events in January of 2020, proving the concept could work. WWE just took it and ran with it for maximum profit, as they do most things. And since TKO formed through the merger of WWE and UFC in September of 2023, WWE's revenue has exploded. We've talked about this before. In 2024, WWE generated $1.398 billion in revenue, which is a company record, even adjusting for inflation. TKO as a whole pulled in $2.804 billion, with WWE accounting for nearly half of that massive figure. WrestleMania 40 became the highest grossing WrestleMania of all time, and you know they love to say it, with a record-breaking viewership, merchandise sales, and sponsorship revenue. And now, with SummerSlam 2025 success being a 2-night event, TKO COO Mark Shapiro is already talking about expanding more events. Isn't that great? But here's the thing they're not saying. Those record revenues aren't just coming from more people watching, they're coming from the same people paying twice as much. Each night of these events is priced as a separate premium live event. You're not getting a 2-for-1 deal, you're getting charged twice for what used to be included in one purchase. It's not a buy one, get one free situation. And speaking of paying more, let's talk about what this is actually costing fans. WWE ticket prices have become absolutely insane in my opinion, and 2-night events are making it worse. For SummerSlam 2025 at MetLife Stadium, fans had to choose between attending one night or paying for both. Nosebleeds for this year's SummerSlam hit $100 to $150 around for a single night. And I know you gotta be in there for vibes, because you ain't seeing nothing when you're in the nosebleeds at a stadium, especially MetLife. I know I've been. On the Squared Circle Reddit, fans are constantly complaining about WWE's pricing. One recent thread is filled with horror stories of $800 floor seats, I've been there, and $150 nosebleeds. Been there. Now multiply that by 2 nights and you're looking at a mortgage payment to attend what used to be a single event. On top of that, WWE's Elite Plus package has some fans spending $40,000.
$40,000.
What could they possibly give me for $40,000?
Do I get to kiss Seth Rollins? Like, what do they do? And this all extends to their new deal with ESPN starting in 2026, whereas Peacock Premium can cost $10.99 or $16.99, ESPN service will be priced at $29.99. And just pause on the rage for a second. I know that pay-per-views used to cost $40 to $60, and they do nowadays for AEW, but this is a price increase on the former deal nonetheless, which was already an increase from WWE Network's $9.99 deal. And on top of that, you still gotta have Netflix to watch Raw, you still need USA Network to watch SmackDown, and you need the CW if you want to watch NXT. We're getting squeezed. If you want to be a wrestling fan today, you got to be prepared to pay a lot of monthly fees. Ironically, WWE's success is pricing out the fans who made them successful in the first place. Working class wrestling fans who used to save up for WrestleMania as their one big splurge of the year now have to choose between making rent and seeing Jelly Roll in a tag match. Now let's talk about how this affects the match card. Did SummerSlam 2025 actually need to be 2 nights? Looking at the card, night 1 had 7 matches, including an impromptu Seth Rollins cash-in, while night 2 had 6 matches. That's 13 total matches, which honestly could have been trimmed to about 8 or 9 really strong matches for a single night. Did we really need Cross versus Zayn? Did we really need the celebrity mixed tag match? Not saying any matches on the 2 nights were bad, but it seems like WWE is pushing a 2-night card out of a 5-hour show. The 2-night format is encouraging WWE to pad cards with unnecessary matches instead of curating tight, meaningful events that we all love. I personally like the pacing a lot of the Triple H era PLEs because we had some time to breathe, besides all the ads in between the matches. And making 2-night events the norm kind of does something to WrestleMania's spectacle if you really want to try and differentiate it from other events around the year. And the 2 nights takes some of the magic out. Imagine if ECW One Night Stand was ECW 2-night stand. I wouldn't like that. Remember when pay-per-views felt special because every match kind of mattered? Now, we're getting a few marquee matches with an episode of Raw kind of just thrown in the middle. But as I said earlier, WWE isn't stopping at SummerSlam. According to multiple reports, they've already started to plan to expand more events into 2 nights. Survivor Series 2026 is apparently at the top of the list, with Royal Rumble 2027 being strongly considered. Even Money in the Bank is in the mix for this format. Think about how ridiculous that is. Money in the Bank, an event built around 2 ladder matches, potentially becoming a 2-night affair. How do you justify that without obvious filler matches? They're basically saying with Royal Rumble and Money in the Bank, we can just split the men's and women's versions of these matches across 2 nights and then charge you twice. They're literally taking content that used to be packaged together and selling it to you separately for a markup. That's some good business. WWE is also looking at WrestleMania 42 returning to Las Vegas, and you can bet that's going to be positioned as their biggest 2-night extravaganza yet, with premium pricing to match. Gotta make even more money than they did last year. And here's what's really bothering me about this whole trend. It's fundamentally changing what made WWE's big events special. Part of the magic and the spectacle of WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and the other big 4 pay-per-views was their sense of occasion. One night, everything on the line, moments that felt truly once in a lifetime. When everything becomes a weekend affair, you get a lot of fluff, and not the good marshmallowy kind. The 2-night format also kills the pacing that made great wrestling events memorable. Think WrestleMania 17. It had a natural ebb and flow, building the crescendos. Now, you need 2 separate main events, 2 separate emotional peaks, and twice as much filler arc and ad placement to get there. Now, WWE executives are going to tell you that this gives more wrestlers opportunities to be featured, and yeah, there's some truth to that. But at what cost? A cost to the fans. The new 2-night cost barrier means that many fans have to choose which night to attend, meaning that maybe one night might have significantly less attendance than the next. So does WWE need 2-night PLEs? From a creative standpoint, I don't think so. Most of these events could tell their stories more effectively in 3 to 5 hours instead of being stretched across 2 nights. Mania might be the one that I would actually consider potentially needing 2 nights. It's an extravaganza. It's their biggest event of the year. They might as well. But from TKO's financial perspective, they're printing money. When you could double your revenue from the same content by simply splitting it up, why wouldn't you? The question is, what are fans getting in return for this? Yeah, there are some positives. More match time, less rushed finishes, more wrestlers getting featured, but those benefits come at the cost of exclusivity, pacing, and lots of money. Money to stream 3 to 4 events a week, and money to go to 3 to 4 events a week. WWE is betting, and probably correctly betting, that fans will continue paying premium prices for what's essentially content inflation. They're taking what used to be a 1 premium experience and charging you twice for it, banking on the fact that wrestling fans' loyalty will overcome their financial common sense, which, let's be honest, it often does, myself included. The 2-night PLE format is here to stay, because it's just too profitable to abandon for them. The question is, will wrestling fans eventually reach a breaking point, or will we just accept that everything costs twice as much as it used to? So are 2-night PLEs an evolution of wrestling entertainment, or are they just a cash grab? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget—
Ooh, chavo!